Two children lived with hearts always searching for something beyond the ordinary. Something they could feel, but never explain. There was always a strange sense that life was preparing them for something greater than what they could see around them. David drove calmly, humming softly as the empty road stretched ahead like a promise. Sarah sat beside him, lost in thoughts of warm food, peaceful mornings, and quiet days ahead. In the back seat, Mike and Maya pressed their faces against the glass, watching everything change. The tall buildings of the city slowly disappeared behind them, fading into distant memory. Endless green hills replaced the concrete world, stretching far beyond what the eyes could see. The sound of the city vanished completely, replaced by wind, trees, and deep, open silence. The car slowed down on the gravel path, and the journey finally came to an end. But something new was only beginning, something they could feel, but not yet understand. Grandma Eleanor stood on the porch with open arms, her smile warm like home itself. Mike ran straight toward the barn, where the smell of hay and life filled the air. The small lambs gathered around him, playful and gentle, as if they remembered him too. Maya walked slowly through the chicken coop, speaking softly as she collected warm eggs. The farm was peaceful, alive, and exactly as they had always remembered it. As the sun began to lower, shadows stretched longer and the world slowly shifted. A quiet curiosity awakened inside them, pulling them toward the edge of the farm. The place they were told to avoid, where the grass grew wild and the trees thickened. Mike stepped forward, but suddenly stumbled as something hard stopped his foot. They knelt down together, digging quickly through the soil with growing urgency. Something metallic began to appear, glowing faintly under the fading sunlight. A golden circular case covered in strange celestial engravings was slowly revealed. Mike opened it carefully, and everything around them seemed to hold its breath. Inside was a compass, unlike anything they had ever seen before. Its surface shimmered like pearl, and its crystal needles spun endlessly without direction. A soft humming vibration came from it, as if it were alive in their hands. They didn't speak, because something inside them already understood this was different. This was not something ordinary, and not something meant for the adults. It felt like it belonged only to them, as if it had been waiting for this moment. As the sky darkened, they carefully hid the compass and returned to the house. But nothing felt normal anymore. Everything inside them had already changed. Dinner passed with voices and laughter, but their minds were far away, because the secret was now real, and it was alive between them. That night, when the house fell silent, Maya quietly left her bed. She crossed the dark room and found Mike already awake waiting for her. A small flashlight illuminated it, revealing its strange glowing surface. And suddenly, the spinning stopped completely. The needle locked into one direction with absolute certainty. A soft teal light began to pulse from its center, steady and alive. It was pointing not north, but somewhere far beyond the farm, toward the dark forest known as the Whispering Woods. A place no one ever entered, a place filled with silence and mystery. Without hesitation, they packed a small bag with bread, water, and the compass. Every movement was quiet, careful, and full of tension. They moved through the house slowly, avoiding every sound. The door creaked open, and the night welcomed them outside. The world was colder now, the sky wide and full of stars above them. The farm slept in silence behind them as they crossed the field. Step by step, they moved closer to the edge of the unknown forest. The grass brushed against their feet, wet with morning dew, and ahead of them stood the dark silhouette of the whispering woods. They reached the fence, the final boundary between safety and mystery. Without looking back, they climbed over it. The moment they entered the forest, everything changed completely. The air grew heavier, the light disappeared, and silence deepened. Towering trees surrounded them, closing the world behind their backs. Mist began to rise from the ground, wrapping around their feet. The compass glowed brighter, guiding them deeper into the darkness. Every step felt heavier, but they continued forward without stopping. Then suddenly, through the trees, they saw a faint, distant light. They moved toward it carefully, as the forest seemed to watch them. The light grew stronger, revealing something hidden ahead, until they reached a clearing surrounded by ancient, towering trees. In the center of it, a soft, magical glow illuminated strange symbols on the ground. The compass pulsed faster than ever before, almost like a heartbeat. Mike and Maya stood still, looking at each other in silence. And then, together, they stepped forward into the glowing light. At that moment, their ordinary summer ended forever. When Mike opened his eyes, the world felt wrong. The warmth was gone. The colors had faded. Maya stood beside him, feeling the cold, a strange, unnatural cold. And then, they saw it. When Mike threw a stone, it didn't fall. It floated and stopped, frozen in the air. In that moment, they understood. Time had stopped. They ran, back to the farm, back to safety, or what they hoped was still safe. But nothing was the same. The waterfall was no longer flowing, but trapped like glass. The wind had vanished. And even the smallest things had stopped moving. The farm was frozen, and the silence was louder than anything they had ever heard. They weren't just alone. They were the only ones still moving in time. With shaking hands, Mike opened the door. The house looked normal, but it wasn't. In the kitchen, their mother stood smiling, pouring tea. But the tea never reached the cup. It hung perfectly still. In the living room, their father sat quietly, reading. But even he was frozen in a single moment. Their home had become something else, a place filled with life that no longer lived. And for the first time, they felt it. Fear. But then, something moved. The compass. A soft light began to glow, teal, alive. It spread across the room, cutting through the gray world.